Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here,
And BlueDragonFive.
and welcome to the Kickback Cafe, the show. Where we kick back, relax, talk about anything but Disney. Yeah. How you doing tonight, BlueDragonFive? We got through that Gotham show without any technical difficulties, so that's a good thing.
I'm reasonably well.
Yeah. All right, well, are your opinions reasonably well about this new Peanuts movie, or are you kind of nervous about it?
Let me boil it down to this. I feel like Charlie Brown in terms of how I feel about this film. I'm more neurotic over this than I ever have been with the Peanuts. I'm worried. I'm mixed on it, to say the least.
Okay. Well, should be
We'll
an
get into
interesting
that.
discussion because I love the trailer personally. I think the trailer really kind of soothed a lot of my anxiety with this movie, but we'll see. It should be a fun time. So before we get into talking about the new trailer that came out, I guess, do you want to talk about the teaser trailer at all before we get into background?
Well, okay, so let's walk through our reaction to the teaser trailer. How does that sound?
Okay.
Okay, so I mean, I remember one day just like looking at the Peanuts, seeing like if they had anything like new on the horizon. After I saw their last special, let's just say I was less than thrilled with their last special. Which really
Yeah, I've yet to see that, but yeah, I've heard from multiple people it's not good.
Let's just say, so after I saw that, that really has informed my worries for this film.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically I was looking like I was in, as you can probably figure, you and I would probably get into our Peanuts mood, or like looking at the old stuff just out of novelty's sake. Looking at the old specials and stuff, just rewatching for the heck of it. And also, at that point in time, or oddly enough, around the same time, like I guess a month or so before the teaser was released, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching this really great. I've prattled on about this. There's this great documentary on YouTube about this PBS documentary about Charles Schultz. Oh, it's going to make you roll a tear. It's really beautiful. Now I was watching. It got me thinking about Peanuts. I was checking out some old specials and stuff, and then I was thinking about look at the Wikipedia articles, and I found out like Peanuts 2015. What? And I'm looking at it. Oh my God, they're doing a film. And like months later, teaser comes out, like a little teaser from Fox. On the Fox network. It comes up and it's like a little teaser trailer, a few seconds, and pretty much get to see the animation style shown. And you basically see how Charlie Brown and Snoopy look in the style of the Blue Sky is doing. So we should mention that Blue Sky is doing the animation and doing the film.
Right.
So we had a little peek at how it's going to be. At that point I was a little optimistic, a little mixed on it at that point, just seeing Charlie Brown and Snoopy, how they look in CG, and surprisingly, they look really good in CG.
Surprisingly, yeah.
I was just right off the bat. That's a worry. Like, oh no, it's like it's really hard. It's really hard to adapt 2D characters to 3D sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw, Get a Horse would be kind of a reference point for this discussion. I assume the Get a Horse short. The Get a Horse short is really good at bringing our 2D characters to life, and using archival footage and whatnot to really make them come to life in a very imaginative way. And I think points to this proposed film's favor. It looks like they're really brought from the screen. Like it's 3-dimensional Peanuts, pretty much. Like they're there from the page. It looks interesting. I'm intrigued by it, by the visual look. That's the thing that's keeping me mixed on this and the positive side of things. That it looks interesting. I'm in this weird place like Charlie Brown where I'm neurotic about this, where I think it looks cool, but I can't like judge for myself if it is good or not. That it's the way it looks. If that makes any sense, it's like it looks interesting, but I'm not sure how this is gonna work. Just in the trailer phase, I'm neurotic as heck about this. It's like, well, I mean, it looks kind of good, but will it translate well for a full movie? It's like I imagine how guys felt working on the guys felt working on Toy Story.
Sure.
This is the first time we've ever seen the Peanuts in CG. Like the closest thing we've ever gotten was like a trailer where we see the balloon of Charlie Brown, like kicking the football. Remember the Macy's Day Parade stuff?
Was that no? I don't remember that. Was that like basically like test footage?
No, well, the teaser or this? I mean, the
No,
teaser.
I'm talking. The teaser was just Charlie Brown and Snoopy, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have any football from what I can remember.
No, I'm just talking about like them. Like way before then, like years ago, we had like this little ad for like the Macy's the Day Parade, pretty much a balloon of Charlie Brown that was computer generated. That's all. It was like the balloon was
Oh, okay,
going after the
okay.
football. That's it.
Oh,
I'm saying it's further. It's like a three-dimensional Charlie Brown brought to screen through CGI.
sure, sure. One thing about the teaser trailer to mention before we get into a little background. I just like the fact that they're really hitting home on the on kind of not keeping not letting up with the whole Charlie Brown. He's very neglected, and that's really his whole character. And so we see that in the teaser trailer when Snoopy is literally hogging the spotlight from him. And I think that's it's definitely like the most poignant thing about the Charlie Brown character. It's definitely the thing that adults have kind of latched onto specifically. And so I think we've really got that. But anyways, you want to go through a little bit of background on this movie just to kind of clear the air a little bit?
Yeah, sure. What are the origins of the Sticky?
Okay, well, the origins, this was done by, they started working on this in 2006, which was 6 years after the release of the last Peanut strip, and also, unfortunately, 6 years since the passing of Charles Schultz himself.
Yeah.
His son Craig Schultz wanted to do the movie, and they worked side by side with Brian Schultz, his son, Craig Schultz's son. And Brian Schultz apparently helped with the screenplay, apparently, quote-unquote, helped make it bigger, helped blow it up more, which I don't know. I gotta say that quote kind of has me hesitant because there's nothing about the Peanuts that you really want to blow up. For the most part, the Peanuts is a very modest thing. We talked at length about how modesty works in the Peanuts' favor with the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Because there are indeed Peanut specials that, again, at the very least, they're not bad, but they are definitely not good. And they're not as good as the other ones in comparison because their same problem is that they go too big in terms of what they're trying to, like the specials. I'm not sure if you've seen it, all of these, but a special in particular, like there's the Mayflower one, there's the American Revolution one, or pretty much you actually see the adult presidents, which always bugs me. And there's also, even on the small scale of that, like pretty much they go global essentially, where it still always kind of bugs me. I think like they go on summer vacation, they go to Paris.
The white water rafting trip.
Yeah, water. I mean, as a kid, I would watch that one. It just always kind of struck me the wrong way, and I was looking at it years later, I kind of figured it's because they're going out of their element a little too much. They want in the neighborhood.
Exactly.
You don't want to go too big with the Peanuts.
But what do you got with the story? Having said that.
Sure. So, from what I understand, again, not going off much here. Still, it's a year away, so not many details have been released quite yet. But from what I got from the plot, from what they've mentioned, essentially, it's going to be obviously centered around Charlie Brown. Mm-hmm. They said they're really striving for a dramatic drive of Charlie Brown's perseverance. So that interests me. Some of the plot details have kind of sparked my interest. That if they go like kind of a Lego movie direction with this, that'll assuage all of my worries for this film.
Sure.
So basically, if no matter how big in scope they get, as long as they boil it down to kind of the core of the character and maybe do something a little more profound with like Lego Movie did. Lego Movie was a fun movie, but they had some really deep stuff towards the third act. If they can kind of see that throughout the film, like Charlie Brown's emotional arc here, it sounds like to me they're going with Charlie. They emphasize that the charm of Charlie Brown is that he perseveres through everything. There's a reason I think we all love Charlie Brown. So he is the worst hands in life. But he doesn't. He's like the Jim Gordon of the Peanuts universe. Essentially, is.
Totally. Yeah.
He's dealt the worst hands of life. He never wins. He just he never wins, but he never gives up though. He's going to still try to kick that football, even though it's completely hopeless. Even though he gets the shaft, the raw end in life, and you always root for Charlie Brown because of that. And they said it's going to be like a dramatic. They're going to dramatically drive that sort of thing. So I'm hoping it's like they have like a new thing kind of come out. Like, in a way, this is kind of a gutsy prediction, like gutsy hope for a movie, is that they kind of, if they had like some sort of again, kind of in reference to Lego Movie here, what if the underlying theme of the movie was like the ultimate tribute to Charles Schultz? Because Charles Schultz, obviously, he did connect heavily to Charlie Brown.
Sure, absolutely.
What if it was like you explore someone who lives this sort of life and like you hope for them, like what's the actual impact of this life on somebody, and can they have a happy ending even though they can never win? You know?
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Good stuff.
And like under the surface, it'd be kind of like looking at someone who like leads a really depressing life and still bring. It's like how Charles Schultz, he lived a really depressing life, but he brought joy to so many, even though he at the price of his own sadness. Like, what if they can do that with Charlie Brown? Make him realize that, I do get the short end of the stick, but it's in a way he's like almost the Jerry Seinfeld thing, where like he lets all the other people shine, but he's the punch man. He's taking the brunt of that damage to help everyone else around him.
Right.
If they can kind of do something like that, I mean, I'll be sold. And also, they mentioned the red hair girl will play a factor in this movie.
Yeah, that's very interesting to me, for sure.
And it was a tragic tale from Charles Schultz's life about the red hair girl. Pretty much, he wanted to run away with the red hair girl, and she turned him down.
And thus we ended up with Lucy.
Yes.
Oh god, yeah. Watch the documentary, folks. Really good stuff.
Really good stuff. That's pretty much all we got plot-wise. It's going to have a dramatic drive focused on Charlie Brown. The red hair girl will be in the movie.
Okay.
That's
and one quick thing to notice, one very important thing, is Bill Melendez. They are using archive voice work from Bill Melendez as Snoopy and Woodstock. So we get to see that in this trailer.
Archival footage always a win, because they like get a horse. When I heard Walt Disney Mickey Mouse, my heart melted. Like
yeah, we talked about that. It was definitely a magical in theater experience for Disney nerds. Like I just remember being in the theater and there were like a bunch of little kids who were going to see Frozen, and I was just in there as a Disney nerd, and I was like, this is so good, it's so good. Oh god, I'm a nerd. I am a nerd. Okay, so anyways, we want to get into this trailer, this 2-minute theatrical trailer that we have.
Sure. So we got a trailer lately, folks, and that's what we're here to talk about. So what we get.
Indeed. So we start off with the Lucy and Linus music, the
the Peanuts theme.
Yes, we established in the Great Pumpkin We established in Great Pumpkin Trailer Ground that piece is actually called Lucy and Linus, since it goes with the two Lucy and Linus scenes that kind of bookend that special. So, interesting fun fact there. But here, we're not concentrated on Halloween. Instead, we're concentrated, this kind of surprised me, on Christmas. I mean, I guess I knew this was coming out around Christmas, but were you surprised to see Christmas decorations and everything in this trailer?
I thought it was very coincidental that this trailer is coming out kind of around the holiday time, but then it said next Christmas. I don't think it's actually going to play a factor into the movie. I think it's just literally it's advertising. It comes out around Christmas time.
Okay. Well, we get
It's like.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's kind of like teaser. It's more like kind of like animation test type stuff. Like it's like how you saw Olaf walking around with like the storm, like the little snow flurry around the trailers, that sort of thing.
Right.
Like reusing the animation, pretty much. I think it's what they're doing.
Okay. Well, regardless, we get some good stuff. We get to see a little procession of Woodstocks, and they're carrying the lights and everything. One of them gets knocked down by a line of lights. Of course, Bill Melendez's voice is in there, just really getting the warm fuzzies out. I love how Woodstock speaks in speech bubbles with little lines in them.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
That's a great touch. Let's see, what else is in there? And of course, Snoopy, he's sleeping on the top of the doghouse. And then I guess the one thing that kind of bothered me, and this is really nitpicking because it took me like 3 or 4 times to notice it, is how did they get those searchlights and everything? I mean, I can deal with the Christmas lights, but they have like full-blown searchlights and everything. It's really elaborate.
Well, I can't quite recall this exactly. I think it might just be a reference to the Christmas time Charlie Brown, because there were searchlights in that special, but I don't.
Okay, I'm sure that's what it is then.
However, I'm not sure they were next to Snoopy's doghouse, but I'm just saying there were searchlights in that special.
Hmm.
Period. I don't think they were actually next to his doghouse. Might be a reference to that, maybe. I don't know.
Right, right. Well, Woodstock, upon everything lighting up, Snoopy gets woken up, and yeah, he goes into Red Baron mode pretty quickly. Wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, he's getting in flying ace mode. He's going after the Red Baron.
Right, right, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we do have a kind of a modern pop song that starts playing. Uh, what do you think of it? I didn't think it was bad per se. I kind of what do you think?
Yeah, it could
Do
have
you
been
think
worse.
you think it kind of took you out of it a little?
It could have been worse. It was okay, I guess. I mean, if it was a worse song, maybe it would have really taken me out of it. I didn't really care about one way or the other.
I guess to me the definitive like pop style song in a flying sequence in an animated movie now is Where No One Goes from How to Train Your Dragon 2. So that song's not nearly as good as or the song in the penis isn't nearly as good as that. But you're right, it could be worse. It could be
To be
worse.
honest with you, what I hope for this movie is that if they don't entirely use the Vince is it Gridandi? Vince. Trying to remember the guy who does the music for the Peanuts. The initials are VG. I think it's like Vince Gridati or something, or Vincent Gridati or something. And the point is, if they just use entirely archived like themes and score for that,
I really hope that's the direction they're going in.
which I'm game for. I'm just saying, like, if they wanted to kind of up the scale, there's only two things. I'd say obviously use the main themes, obviously. But
Right,
I'm
right.
saying, like, if you do kind of up your scale, like like assume we do have like a flying scene like we do in this trailer. Obviously, not going to use the song in the thing. At least we can hope that, because that many times the trailer is just going to use that sort of music just for
Sure,
the trailer.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
So what I'm hoping is like either in Dream World, Michael Giacchino or Alan Silvestri could kind of do like kind of the score in addition to the archival stuff. You know,
Oh, that would work out really well.
like I
Yeah, I
can
don't
just
know if they could
imagine.
get Ticino, but
Like I can imagine like a Snoopy style dogfight with like kind of like Silvestri
sure. Oh yeah,
Western
definitely.
Encino action music playing, like kind of classic World War I type music. I don't know, but
So we have Snoopy. He's on his doghouse. He's taken off. I love how Woodstock looks all pissed at Snoopy taking off. You know, we get a great Snoopy and Woodstock dynamic in this,
yeah,
just in the 2 minutes we see. And uh, and then we have Snoopy has a little propeller at the end of his doghouse that falls off before he even takes off. That's a really funny little detail. And I gotta tell you, BlueDragonFive, I was really impressed with this whole flying sequence and how it looks. I love the shot of when Snoopy's got like his fingers pressed together and he's looking through them and he sees the Red Baron. That kind of gave me chills a little bit. It was like just the comic book come to life in such a big, grand way. I really like the stuff when they go up the Eiffel Tower. I really love the shot when he's going down the Eiffel Tower and his face kind of stretches out. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, yeah. This is the big thing I'm mixed on in the trailer. One of the big things I'm
Okay.
mixed on. It's like I can't again. I'm more mixed. I'm not negative on it per se. I'm just mixed on it. It's different. That's the thing. I'm just not used to it. It's just one trailer is not really informing my opinion on the movie yet, which again, really, I'm just mixed on. Uh, it's just that the idea behind this sequence, Tiki, is that this is like in the Halloween special, obviously.
Of
How
course.
we go into Snoopy's imagination for like when he's touring the war torn countryside, or like when he's in the sky, all the clouds and stylistic stuff going on. This is their version of it. That so this is all in his mind. He doesn't move at all in reality. He's just like in
Right,
his
right,
mind.
yeah.
He's going through Paris. So again, nice little reference to World War I. Then he's like over Paris, I guess, the
And
French
then
countryside.
we see him go through the clouds, and then the clouds disappear, and he doesn't have a plane under him, and then it suddenly cuts to reality, and he falls off the doghouse, and
Yeah,
Woodstock starts laughing.
I mean that's funny, but it's just it's the visual presentation of it makes me mixed because it's something we haven't seen before. I don't know. It's like it's a Peanuts. I'm not used to because usually obviously we'd be a fixed location, be like around the we never see below the doghouse, making it seem that nothing's happening below the surface there. So
Hmm.
it makes it a little more like in his mind. But the visual visually it looks great. He's going around. I'm not knocking the animation looks great. It's just I think it's a little too big, and kind of like it's going a little too big even for Snoopy's imagination, but logically, if it's in his imagination, why couldn't it be big? That's the thing I'm mixed on.
That's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah, that's kind of why I like it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like new it's new seeing in CG like this, but also the other thing is that a big thing kind of makes me a little is that we see the Red Baron. Usually we don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's...
I know one thing. I'm going to hate it if we see who the Red Baron is. I do not want to see that.
Okay, well, I'll give you that much. Yeah.
I do not want to see the Red Baron. I mean, it's one thing. Like, I'll give him the plane. That also the animation does a little off because the city. You'll notice that Paris isn't formatted to the Peanuts style. It's a regular city. But then again, it's in his mind though, so that's kind of works because of that.
True.
So I'm just not. I need to be convinced more. That's what the big thing of this show is. I just need to be convinced with more trailers of it. I guess I don't know.
All right. Well, it's funny because with this trailer, I pretty much am convinced.
It's like I respect the idea. I respect the idea of doing some different stuff with like going inside Snoopy's mind. I just need to see more of it. That's my big thing. More of it to convince me. It's like I saw that Pie Pie trailer from Illumination. It looks interesting, but I'm not sold on it yet. It's a hard thing to get used to.
I mean, I'll tell you one thing. I do hope that the Snoopy Red Baron stuff doesn't take a big majority of the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I definitely hope that Charlie Brown's front and center, and then Snoopy is
Hmm.
kind of the Olaf of the movie, if you will. Just, by what I mean by that is not necessarily sharing Olaf's character storyline or anything. Just being the really lovable supporting character.
Now, here's what actually, there's something important in this scene I want to point out. There's something, I do hope they connect this thematically to Charlie Brown in terms of, you'll notice, the big dialogue, the big caption on the screen is "Dream big." Before it says coming this summer or whatnot. I mean, coming this Christmas, next Christmas. Listen to this, Tiki. So it said "Dream big." Now, what I'm thinking they could do, if they're smart about this, if they go kind of the Lego Movie route, if they do connect it thematically to Charlie Brown's arc, is if it's Charlie Brown's issue is that I guess he's not dreaming big or something related to him. He has these big aspirations, and we see someone who truly has big aspirations, and he's just a dog.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? If they can kind of connect a literally big dream to kind of how Charlie Brown just wants to.
Yeah, most definitely, for sure.
Also, something we should mention that it was also emphasized by our in the background was that something they also kind of emphasized with Charlie Brown is that this is a guy who doesn't dream of these huge things. He just wants the little things. He's not a Walk of Fame type guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, so I mean, just if they kind of connect a dream big theme, if you're gonna have these Snoopy moments, connect them thematically, kind of justify them, sort of. I'm trying to think of a good example here of, I don't know, kind of having got our flashbacks in Save Mr. Banks. If you can kind of connect them thematically like that, we're going to Snoopy here because it connects to what Charlie Brown wants to do.
Yeah, I totally hear you.
It's Charlie Brown emotionally wants to reach the skies with just achieving the simple tasks. Maybe Charlie Brown has aspirations of going above and beyond, finding his true identity. But before he can do any of that, before he can actually start thinking of what he's going to do in life, he wants to. He's neurotically thinking to himself, "How can I achieve anything if I can't even do a simple task of kicking a football? What kind of life am I living here?" If you kind of looked at that introspectively like that, maybe I don't know.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we have these fantasies going on in Snoopy's head about flying, which I think could serve as a really nice bit of symbolism.
And then, of course, it's kind of reality sets in where as he runs out of plane, and maybe it's kind of in life you're going to have the rug pulled out from under you, or your dog has to pull out from under you, and then he just kind of lands back in reality.
Sure.
And shocks the crap out of Woodstock. It's pretty funny.
And again, it just warms my heart to hear Bill Melendez in that role again. It's great. It's awesome.
I tell you, it is a charming idea. He has a little fantasy and do kind of the classic thing from the Halloween special where he lands in the dog dish.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Anyway, so then here's the moment another moment makes me mixed in the next scene.
All right. Take us through it.
So we see Charlie Brown. His head's kind of blocked. I thought the idea of the head blocking the screen is pretty funny.
Right.
But then we see all the peanuts during the movie theater, and they're all complaining about Charlie Brown. Saying stuff as usual.
Oh, they are livid.
They're what?
I said they are livid. They hate. They're mad. They are annoyed.
Oh right, yeah. And they're you're right, they are annoyed. But here's the thing. Kind of strikes me as a little. It strikes me more mean than we usually get with the peanuts for a moment.
I agree with you that it is mean, but I don't necessarily have a problem with that because that's kind of the tone I personally look for with the peanuts.
I don't know, it's like this, for some reason to you, this gag, this one, again, so silly just to comment, the great about this one minor gag in the trailer, but I'm worried it's going to influence, like, a show that we're going to get in the movie, that Charlie Brown, like, he spills the popcorn, like, he's fumbling around and spills the popcorn, the thing dumps on his head. Essentially gets caught in his head, his big head. And then the kids are, all of them, every single one of them, they're laughing at him, really cruelly, if you ask me, like, no, it's like they're all just...
Again, it kind of goes back to the original comic strip of Charlie Brown. There goes good old Charlie Brown. How I hate him.
Yeah, I mean, there's how I hate him, but this is more mean-spirited laughing. I don't think we've ever really gotten mean-spirited. I mean, there's...
More mean-spirited than how I hate him?
No, I mean, that's a different kind of... I mean, like, this is, like, more like kind of... How can I describe it? Like, kind of like real world kind of like laughing at misfortune of others type. So that's just more like cruel, like psychological, like, oh man, these kids really hate him.
That's kind of why I appreciate the Peanuts, is that it's not afraid to go into those psychological dark places. So I personally don't have a problem with it. As a matter of fact, I think it's a little bit ballsy. I do see your point, though. I definitely see your point. It is malicious.
No, I mean, I like kind of the smart, like, as you just mentioned, the first There Beans gig. I like the smart, the smart, like, after Charlie Brown walks away and they say, oh, how I hate him. That's like more like you think of the implications. I don't want to just see it spelled out to me, like, oh, man, these kids, they're mean to Charlie Brown. They're all laughing at him. Ha, 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 misfortune. I like the bits more like when you stew on it, like, man, those kids don't let up when Charlie Brown brings the wrong tree to them. That sort of stuff. Like Lucy just set Charlie Brown up for failure, asking him to direct the Christmas pageant. That sort of stuff is the stuff I'm talking about. I appreciate that a little more than just. It's like more laughing at the stupid mistake he's just made, less than just the stupid gangly action he's doing.
Well, to be fair, I mean, this isn't even really a theatrical trailer, because I don't really think that a lot of this footage, besides maybe some of the Red Baron stuff that we get, is even going to be in the final movie.
Yeah.
So, to be fair, I think what they're really trying to do is they're just kind of trying to set up the whole tone of Charlie Brown kind of being a sad sack. And I think they establish it well. I mean, I don't... Because none of this is going to be in the actual movie, especially the Charlie Brown stuff, because they're literally sitting down to watch the Peanuts movie.
Yeah, so by all means, I could be definitely overreacting. I'm just mixed on this. That's all. I don't have much to grasp onto with these little trailers we've been getting out so far.
Right. Just a couple things to note with the kids. I really like the look of the filth around Pigpen.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like just this bizarre, like, greenish sort of smoke stuff.
I didn't get a good look at Pigpen. I gotta rewatch it for that.
And Linus, once again, he looks like he's one of the more antagonistic people in the whole bunch. And I'm just like, gee, Linus, come on.
What was Linus? Linus was laughing along with him, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, but even before that, he's looking at Charlie Brown, and he's like noticeably pissed off about the whole blocking the screen thing, even though Charlie Brown is in front of him, so it wouldn't even be in back of him, so it wouldn't even be a factor, and yet Linus is still just like,
yeah.
So that was the one thing I was like, that's mean-spirited. Even Linus is all hated on Charlie Brown. Come on.
Hey, did you notice Peppermint Patty in there at all?
I'd have to rewatch it. I definitely noticed Marcy. I definitely noticed her.
I'm sure if Marcy's there, Peppermint Patty's got to be there.
Yeah, I'm sure. She's there.
Hey, Tiki, was Franklin there?
Yeah, but he was all the way in the back in his own little corner.
Oh, it's me. Oh. You took it to a dark place. Oh, or another pun.
You set me up for that. You set me. Do not get me started on Charlie Brown Thanksgiving racism.
I watched it again, T. I don't think it's racism, but we'll get into it.
We'll go over it. We'll go over it next week. That will be a discussion.
Yes.
Try to get Sandy Claus in on that one. He's the one who discovered it in the first place.
Anyway, so let's see. So I guess I should get into my huge fears of the movie.
Okay, go ahead.
So folks, the reason I'm not just kind of with Tiki here just being optimistic. I'm usually the optimist here.
Yeah, it is kind of an interesting role reversal for us.
The reason I'm more Charlie Brown here than usual is that of all the Charlie Browns I know, you're the Charlie Brownest. the reason is because the last Peanut special I was less than thrilled with. It's called Happiness is a Warm Blanket, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was really let down by a special, feature centered around Linus getting over his blanket addiction, and it was just boring as heck. No, actually, no, it wasn't him getting over the... I don't even know what it was about. What was it about, Tiki? Was it him getting over the blanket? Do you remember?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Let's just say it was just boring as heck. I did not care at all. They sounded wrong. Like, the voice acting wasn't that good. I know the kid. They changed the kids up a little. It just, I don't know. It just didn't sound right. It was just boring. And Peanut should never be boring.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let's see. I'm trying to think some. A main reason I think you'll notice the writing credits are like Charles Schultz and his son Craig Schultz. Now, obviously, Charles Schultz is going to be on there automatic because it's based off his stuff, so he didn't really write it, obviously. But he may or may not have. I'm not sure. Like if it was like one of the scripts he wrote before he died. I'm not sure. I presume afterwards, it's just he created. That's the only reason it's there, based off original strips.
Right. Speaking of which, just really quick, I do like the detail of in the actual logo for the Peanuts movie, it says
by Schultz.
By Schultz. Yeah, that's a great touch.
Yeah, see, that's the only reason. At first, when I saw that, when I just saw like that in the teaser we got from Fox, I originally thought, okay, well, the last thing really disappointed me. Then I thought, oh, it's by Schultz, so that means his family worked on this, so maybe it'll be a kind of a testament to Charles Schultz. Then I find out that Craig Schultz actually wrote "Happiness is a Warm Blanket," which really makes me worry because again, that was a big super letdown.
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll have to see this "Happiness is a Warm Blanket" to see what you're talking about, but.
It just makes me worry because watching that special made me think, oh man, they lost the spark. It's like Peanuts. It's boring, and I'm terrified. At first, that was my only glimmer of hope for this movie is that only the last Peanuts thing really let me.
I feel like Peanuts is one of those things that can easily go into the territory of boring just because you're kind of walking a tightrope with the Peanuts between, making like this really sharp social satire and social commentary and having it just be kind of monotonous. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, of course, I love my mundanity, but there is a fine line to walk with that sort of thing.
Sure.
It's just I fear that I think it's fears to the movie. If they don't do something smart with it, it'll just fall flat. It'll just be a bunch of taken scenes. Basically, the only plus I'll be seeing the classic scenes done in CGI, and that'll pretty much be it. It'll just be a bunch of vignettes that we just kind of know them by heart, and just okay. So now we're just seeing them on screen in CG. So really, what's the?
I will admit that does sound quite a bit pointless. Yes.
Yeah, if you're just rehashing it and like. I'm afraid it's gonna be like just a rehash of like maybe they're loosely connected. Okay, he's chasing the red-haired girl, and then that's how we get to the next bit. I mean, it's just that's my worry, and that's gonna fall flat because Craig Schultz is working on it. But I don't know. I should be optimistic, again, like Charlie Brown. I know I should be happy, but I'm not. I don't know. Again, I'd be all for anything with the Peanuts. I'm welcome to give it a shot. But just this, I'm going to see the movie most definitely. See how it is because I am a Peanuts fan, and it's these guys have brought me endless amounts of happiness throughout my life. I got to give them a shot.
Certainly.
But I don't know. It's just I'm worried it's going to be another Happiness is a Warm Blanket. And there's finding out that Craig Schultz worked on it. It's making me less. I'm just hoping that maybe they got their act together, realizing that okay, look, as we kind of went through the background here, that okay, they're realizing this is a huge event. Peanuts on film yet again. This hasn't happened since pretty much Snoopy Comes Home.
Right, exactly.
We gotta make this big. That movie made people cry. The vote almost practically voted like the saddest kids movie of the year.
That movie traumatized a generation.
Yes, I mean we gotta up our game to follow that. Bring into a new generation. We're not just doing this for the novelty's sake of people like the little Mets Life ads with the Peanuts, which are good by the way.
Oh God,
little Mets Life ads. So they're in the public consciousness. So let's do something with that. It's got to be more than that. It's got to be more than just a cash cow. It's got to be telling a story, celebrating the characters, and celebrating the life of Charles Schultz. And I hope if they can bring that to screen, more power to them. It'll be amazing. But if not, again, it's by no means in comparison to Toy Story 4, but it's kind of like the Toy Story 4 for the Peanuts. It'll be a make or break.
Yeah, we'll see.
It could be. I'm saying it could be great. It could be bad. I don't know, but I think at the end, the kids are going to be impressed by it because basically they're seeing the characters on screen. But I mean, for us, the longtime fans, it's going to be the discriminating Peanuts fan. It could be boring. I know, like parents and grandparents are a little put off by it because of the CG look. It's like different from what they're usually used to.
Yeah, but like I said, I think they translated the CG, the 2D to the CG pretty well. I really like kind of. In the Red Baron fantasy sequences, I feel like they kind of got the whole minimalist sort of backgrounds captured pretty well in that. So I am not really skeptical about the CG. I think the look translates pretty well.
I'm worried with the CG. I'm worried about how they integrate with the backgrounds because I really don't want it to look like Gumball.
Oh God! Oh, I hate Gumball, and I know that's not popular to say that you don't like Gumball.
Hey, I don't like. Hey, I'm with you, Tiki. I hate Gumball too. I don't like it. I really don't like it.
I especially don't understand how people say it's like a masterclass in design. I'm like,
no, it's not. It's mixing it's putting a bunch of styles in a blender. Okay, it is not who says that?
People who do animation reviews on YouTube mostly praise
Don't
Gumball and say that.
No, don't hit me with that. Come on.
So take it up with the mysterious Mr. Enter or Rebel Taxi or someone like that. All right.
Master class of style. Come on. But you see what I mean? Like, basically, again, with the mixture of Snoopy in the backgrounds and in his little dream sequence there, that's one thing. Because it's stylistically supposed to be his magic. I'm just like we saw like the houses. I'm saying we only got a real quick glimpse of what the backgrounds look like in the regular style. Like, we saw that little teaser trailer, and we saw like what's behind Snoopy's doghouse. That looked.
I guess what I'm talking about is just how the sky looked, the colors and everything during the Red Baron flight scene.
Yeah.
That kind of harkened back to the to what we were talking about with the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, and those backgrounds.
It kind of looked like it. I think they could have maybe pulsed the colors up a little more, but I mean, it might have just been the trailer. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But they look good enough. But the thing is, just with the regular stuff, like just seeing Snoopy's doghouse and what was it behind that, that's what I'm worried about. Like, I hope that it looks okay just still in the trailer, but I'm wondering how it's going to integrate with our characters, because it looked okay when we saw the teaser with Charlie Brown and Snoopy walking around a little.
Right.
So that's all. I just want to hope it stays consistent. I hope it doesn't like just be. It's like I can't imagine for a long time like Snoopy walking around in that little imaginary set for too long without kind of noticing the jive and styles, you know.
Yeah, I see. I hear what you're saying for sure.
You know, like if he's not flying around, if he's walking around that set, it's going to be too jarring for me.
Sure. All right, so I think we've come to our natural end of our discussion here. Any other points to bring up?
I really hope it's good. I hope more trailers maybe sway me on. Mainly, I think what's going to sway me. It's going to be my make or break on this. Is going to be getting some story trailers, because again, if they go for a Lego movie, kind of the ultimate celebration of the characters and Charles Schultz, perhaps if they go for something really psychologically deep under the surface, I'm going to love this film. If they go for a Toy Story 3 meets Lego movie, I'm going to love it. If not.
If they go for like, hey, Charlie Brown has an iPhone.
if they introduce modern technology like that, if they have an iPhone in this movie,
anything like that, I am totally 100% in agreement with you. Anything like that, any sort of bullshit like that, and I am done. I am
I'll
out.
take it. I'll take it for the MetLife ads. The MetLife ads only. It bothers me when
God,
they
they
do
better
it.
not be thinking like, well, hey, the MetLife ads are popular now, so people want to see the Peanuts with modern day technology.
It bothers me as it is when they do like the modern stuff in the comics, in the strips nowadays, which I don't really read all because now Charles Schultz is gone, so
Of course.
Still,
I didn't even know they were still making strips.
Well, of course they're still making strips. It's like I'm not sure if it's still Ghost artists doing it, but it's probably someone doing the art of making a Charles Schultz lookalike art. And mind you, he did have a lot of strips done after his passing. I don't know how long they had that going for, so I'm not quite sure. Plus, they probably reuse a few and just do new dialogue balloons. I'm not sure.
Sure.
The point is, I really hope that they got to keep it contemporary. You would think, wouldn't they? I mean, I'm using that right? Contemporary in terms of it stays ambiguous to the time period. Still like seems 60s-ish.
Contemporary would actually imply that they do have modern technology and everything.
Sorry, I misused. I mean, it's got to be a bit of a period, like ambiguous. The point where I'm saying, how would you feel about cell phones at all? Do we want no cell phones whatsoever?
No cell phones. No cell phones.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't want it. I think a big part of the charm of the Peanuts is showing how kids grew up and interacted before cell phones, and I don't want cell phones in my Peanuts movie.
Okay, let me ask you this: do we want big clunky computers or no?
I'd be down for big clunky computers.
Because
down for that.
I know that I'm convinced they had microfilm in the Peanuts. I can't verify that, but I'm convinced they had microfilm. They met, and I think towards the 90s they may have given them like the big clunky computers. I don't think they ever gave them. If they had cell phones, it was the big clunky cell phones. Very rarely, extremely rarely, if ever.
Hell, I would even be down for big clunky cell phone. I just don't want to see anything that looks anything remotely like what we have in terms of modern technology.
Yeah, I want absolutely no touchscreens. No touchscreens. And
of course,
this one goes without saying, but I'm just going to say it just because I'm worried about it, and especially, again, just talking about the biggest thing they could get wrong about this. I want no adults shown.
You would think that would be obvious. You would think so.
I'm just saying we've had a few specials in the past. We've gotten full adults. I do not want that. That will be a disaster if that happens. I want no. Again, that's another reason. No Red Baron. I don't know what the Red Baron's going to look like. I don't want to risk it. No adults.
Sure. Absolutely.
If we get adults, we hear them off screen. They're like, wah, 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 wah. Nothing else. The most I will accept is the most we've ever gotten with them in the regular specials of the Valentine's Day special. Legs is as much as I will go. Legs and that only. And even that I'm skeptical on. We will only accept legs blocked by objects like cars and stuff.
I think with legs we're getting into cow and chicken territory. So
I'm just saying the most we've ever gotten in acceptability with that is like in the Valentine's Day special we see Linus's he has a crush on the teacher, and we see like we see a set of legs basically underneath a car, pretty much like open the door for the girl, and then he walks to the other side and drives away. That's it.
Right. Okay.
That's all I will accept, and that is still pushing it.
Okay. Well, any other terms that you want to put up with Blue Sky?
Okay, let me see. Again, the animation on the characters looks good enough already. Any big faux pas they could really do? What damage could they do with this? Well, here's a question. Here's just the story question, Tiki. Do we want? I'm worried. I don't assume if they do make this a big not psychological. If they do make this kind of an emotional send-off. Not send-off, but emotionally tie into the Peanuts, like big old introspective piece for Charlie Brown, like a big old character arc piece. Do we want him to change too much? Obviously, we don't want to change too much, but like, what would you be willing to accept with Charlie? Would you like to see him kick the football for the first time ever?
Actually, yeah, I would. I'd be down to see that in this movie.
Do we want to see Kite Eating Tree?
I don't. Kite-eating tree. I don't even know what that is.
What, you don't know what kite-eating tree is?
No.
Oh my god, the kite-eating... Charlie Brown, he always tries to fly the kites, never gets it going because either he fails at it or usually more often than not he will land in a tree and he's nicknamed it the kite-eating tree, and then pretty much when he leaves the room or something, like leaves the space or something, you'll see like the tree has like a mouth and it eats the kite. It gets caught in the tree and then it eats it.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, there's that. But also, I should mention, like, speaking of the kite-eating tree and stuff, they did say the story would also be kind of like a send-off, like, not send, I don't like keep saying send-off, would be a reference to the classic strip gags. Like, you know, you're probably going to get a football scene, you'll probably get like a Linus and Charlie Brown talking by the wall scene, you know, classic stuff.
Yeah. Okay, let me bring up one thing that I think could very easily be done poorly. Schroeder.
Well, how could they do
that?
Well, as long as he plays the piano, he should be fine. What could they do wrong with him?
I think what they could do wrong with him is they could actually have him hook up with Lucy.
No. Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
No.
You see?
Okay, here's what they gotta avoid. Okay, if they make it into an actual plot point, like a running plot point, then
right.
I'm worried that they gotta keep the focus on Charlie Brown. If you do vignettes, it's like, here's the thing: they gotta keep the focus on Charlie Brown. So basically, the Peanuts they're like gags before we get to Charlie Brown. You know, they can't be like, it can't be Lucy can't be an additional main character. No, like she can't be.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't agree with that. No.
Well, follow me on this. I don't think I'm explaining it. I mean, like, we can't have a story where, okay, so we got Charlie Brown's main story, then we got Lucy, like she's trying to hook up with Schroeder for the whole thing. You see what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm saying, like, certainly we don't want that, but I think with Lucy there's a lot of potential for her to be a main character and to do really good things with a main character role. I think Lucy kind of fascinates me as being the character that people dislike the most as a kid and then like the most as an adult because of the change in perspective.
Well, I guess what I mean is, like, I don't want it to become like a romantic comedy subplot of like being like
certainly that is absolutely that. Like I said, that would go against the entire spirit of Schroeder's character.
And by extension, I don't want like it's gonna be. I don't want too many characters to have that sort of like story if they go that route of like giving them all like, okay, so Linus has. Maybe if they do like another blanket addiction story, I don't want that to take up more screen time than it has to. Like,
I agree with that. I'll agree with that.
I just want what we usually get in the specials. I want character bits. I don't want I don't want like a whole nother movie going on for a bunch of characters while we're focused on Charlie Brown. I want to avoid that.
Okay.
I don't think they'll do that, but you know, like I don't want like a little payoff of like, oh, Lucy's hitting on Schroeder the whole time, and then he accepts her by the end. Ooh, no, I don't want that.
No, yeah, you're right. That is like a cardinal sin.
Yeah, I don't want that. Just keep Schroeder playing the piano and rejecting her as usual. Just keep that. Also, same thing on the reverse side with Linus and Sally. You know, obviously Linus doesn't take inside. Maybe he shows like some kindness now and again, but you know, he's still no getting together.
Sure, definitely.
No giving up the blanket. They got to throw. Sometimes I fear the Peanut specials. They kind of forget that Linus has the blanket sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
Like in the Thanksgiving special, you know, there's the blanket in one scene.
Really? Huh.
I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, so you just gotta keep the iconic stuff with the Peanuts, pretty much. That's
Absolutely.
all. Like Marcy calls Pepper Patty sir. You know, keep your classic stuff.
Right.
Do we want to see a baseball game?
Oh yeah. You know, like you said, if we're getting all the classic comic stuff, I think that's only appropriate.
Well, here's an important question.
Okay.
Do we want Joe Cool?
I don't know. It depends on what direction they want to take the plot in.
Okay, one more question. Do we want school, or do we want like during the summer? How much time do we want to pass? Like, do you want to see the classic stuff, like them in the classroom, do we want to see them in the classroom, or completely during summer, or like both?
I don't know. I think school is risky just because, like, anything that involves teachers automatically means adults, automatically means they could fuck it up by showing the adults.
But I'm hoping what they do for a lot of these things that they strive for the classic panel look of like we don't really change the camera angles in terms of.
Well, of course, that's what you would hope they would do. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Also, I hope they don't do something stupid. I really hope they don't do something stupid like an overhead shot of that sort of scene, and when we see like the teachers being obscured by a book or something. It's still going to be a little. I don't want to see like arms holding a book, like masking the face and stuff.
No, I totally agree. Totally agree.
I can be completely off screen. Do not show like the full from like if the camera's like in the corner of the room sort of angle.
Right.
Anyway, so that's pretty much it. Like, don't do anything stupid. Pretty much is what I'm saying to this movie. Like, all I'm saying at the core of it is don't do anything stupid, and just pretty much give me something, a reason, like justify this being a movie.
Indeed, indeed. All right, so is that have we kind of reached the end of the discussion here? I think so. I think we've kind of got to the end of our road.
Yeah, good grief.
All right, good grief indeed. Okay, so for now, we clink our glasses and await our next discussion here on the Kickback Cafe.
Clink.
Clink. Oh, yes.